your host, Alicia Couri, and this is Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And today's guest is Janette Ghedotte. Let me tell you about Janette. Truth and deception detection expert. Janette Ghedotte is an MALLP clinical psychologist, founder and CEO of Accurate Body Language. Accurate Body Language is the key to crack the code, unlock the vault of nonverbal communication, and reveal the secrets of human interaction. With over 20 years of corporate business, marketing research, advertising, and strategic brand positioning, and clinical psychology experience, Janette specializes in understanding the complexities of human behavior, interpersonal relationships, verbal and nonverbal body language communication. I am so excited to welcome to the show Janette Ghedotte.
Hi. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy International Women's History Month. And I am super excited to have you back. The last time we kind of peeled back a little bit of, what your body is saying and what it's telling you. And today we're really going to dive into these myths about liars.
Yes.
These 7 myths. So, first of all, share with the audience how you got started in doing what you do.
Well, as a curious person, I always wanted to understand why. And as a psychologist, I want to understand deeper about what motivates people, what contributes to their behavior and their actions. And really, when you know how to detect and decode body language, that's our secret weapon. That's our strategic competitive advantage. That is our superpower. And I love your Wonder Woman pose. So you've got it. You understand that to convey confidence, it's not what you wear, it's what's inside. So I'm happy to be on your show. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I love having you on. I love watching you on social media. Please listen. Guys, follow Janette. Let me show you her. Get on her IG, Accurate Body Language. Go to IG and follow her right now, Accurate Body Language. So you talk about these 7 myths,
yes,
liars. So let's dive into that. What is the first one that you want to share?
Everybody, I think, overestimates how well they can detect lies. And there was a global research, a worldwide research with over 11,000 subjects, and they came up with several shocking findings, but they all make sense when you understand how people think. The first myth, it's my latest Brains magazine article about the 7 global myths about liars. And the first myth that we all are guilty of is that we all believe that our beliefs are based on truth and facts. Whatever we believe it to be true, even though we may have done little or zero research on it. And with my background in marketing research, I always want to investigate and analyze and dig deeper. And that is one of my strategies for body language. One little body language tell is not the whole story. And Alicia and I know that you have to grab more puzzle pieces, cluster them together so that the picture starts to emerge. So that's the first myth, that beliefs, our personal beliefs, are based on facts. If we do more research and provide more evidence to our position, we can be more credible. The second myth is that our inner circle group or orbit are trustworthy. Those people, our friends, our family, and our BFFs can be the ones that they pass through our normal BS filter. And just because they're our brother, our sister, our cousin, or our business colleague, we don't take enough caution to double check to make sure that what they are telling us is accurate. That is why so many spouses or parents say, my God, I was blindsided. The clues were always there. It's whether or not they got filtered through or just didn't want to believe. And I use this example like Tiger Woods. His wife may have sensed some issues, but she didn't want to believe, and they have 2 children together, so it's very easy to give our inner circle people a pass, or not the scrutiny that we would normally give if you were meeting a first-time business colleague. So that's myth number 2. Myth number 3 is the myth that people, once they find out about a lie, that they will do the right things and stand up for the truth. We're learning that that is not the case. Not the case. Because in order to change from what you believed, you have to change and you have to take action to correct your direction. And for many, many people, they just don't want to do that because in their mind, status quo, or what they are normally used to, or to stay in their tribe or their community or their business association or their political.
So is that when they stop making excuses?
Yes.
Making excuses.
Yes.
Or they just start really trying to cover it up.
Exactly.
Continue to keep covering it up.
And just think, if you have children and finances or your business partner is involved, it's hard to extract yourself if you realize some deception is in the mix. So it's very, very hard to automatically align yourself to the truth. And that's why I am so passionate, because I try to educate people so that they see the traits early, like on the first date, early, or before you. Hey ladies, if you ever need any extra support, Alicia and I can be at the second table. We'll wire you up, and I'll
wire you up.
and I'll feed you. I want to look at your date and say, okay, look at that, and Alicia
He's a little shifty over there.
and Alicia will do this or this, or check,
run
please.
Away, run away.
Right. So it is a myth that people will stand up and do the right thing, even though if you were to ask them, hey, once you find out the truth, what would you do? Well, I would do the right thing. Not necessarily.
Okay, number 4.
Myth number 4 is lies are easy to detect. This is what I'm saying, that most people give themselves more credit than they realize. Lies are difficult to detect when you are not trained.
You hear that all the time. People saying, oh, I'll know if they're lying. I'll know if my kids are lying. I'll know.
If you think about it, if you put an imaginary quarter on your thumb and you flipped it, you caught it, and you slapped it down, and you looked, that's about the odds of an untrained person to catch the lie. And it's amazing. Whenever I do my acrobatic language training and I show raw footage of a video and I ask the audience, well, what do you see? What do you see? They comment on what they see, but then they're amazed about the analysis afterwards. All of the clues are right there, right in front of them, but it's only after they get trained and know what to look for that they say, oh my God, how could I have missed that? How could I miss that? As you can tell, I'm very passionate about helping people tap into, and this is very surprising once they hear it, we all were born body language experts. Remember I said that on our first show together.
Yes, you did.
Before we were born, we absorbed all the noise, senses, and the tastes of our mother, and our 5 senses were developing in the womb. And so after we were born, that's when we were optimally nonverbal.
Right.
So we had to communicate with our caregivers and the environment through our 5 senses. What I want to encourage people now as adults is to tap back into your birthright and reclaim your birthright of being a body language expert. We were born a body language expert, and then we were raised into being
out of it.
Yes.
So let's keep rolling, because I love number 5.
Yes.
I think number 5 is a really big myth.
This global research with over 11,000 respondents, over 75 countries, including Dubai, I'm sure. I'm still jealous about Dubai. Take me with you. Take me with you.
Come go with me.
I'll be your AV girl. But
there you go.
Across all cultures, the number one top myth is liars can't look me in the eye. That is true for certain liars, but also shy people won't look you in the eye. Submissive people won't. Sure. You were to visit the Queen of England on your trip abroad, she might have a protocol that we are not to look her in the eyes. Right. And you can't touch her. So you have to be culture sensitive and know individually how that baseline of that individual is and what cultures does that individual belong to. Liars can't look you in the eye are true for some liars, but it's not just for liars.
Universally true.
So if we are interacting with prospects in business, we have to be very careful about the culture. And if we don't do proper and respectful eye gaze, our prospect, especially if they're from a different culture, may interpret that as we are not credible. That is the number one myth. Number 6 is fidgetiness. We all know, and maybe we have relatives who are anxious and nervous and fidgety, or we might be fidgety, especially under certain situations. We've got to better control that and tap into our most powerful self in front of TED Talks or in front of international panels, because if we show any signs of nervousness and self-touch, we can be interpreted in a negative impression. And so that is the myth that they assign liars only to be fidgety. Not so. Nervous, truthful people can also be fidgety. So you see how these myths are global? That's why we have to be careful of our own body language and also watch the body language of our prospects and our business colleagues in front of us.
Absolutely. And the myth number 7, guilty because of shame and remorse.
This is a global misconception. Some skilled, experienced, and extraordinary liars who are on personality disordered spectrum of liars, ordinary liars,
narcissists, and you got all kinds of
and
they can lie, and
psychopaths. So if this is the spectrum of liars, and you have ordinary weak liars who will show all the shame and remorse, but powerful, skilled, extraordinary liars, psychopaths, their brains are actually different. Their white and gray matters are different. They don't process shame and guilt and a social conscience or a moral compass like regular people.
The average person.
They can't help themselves because their brains are impaired, and from fMRI studies, they truly don't feel remorse or love. And I almost feel sorry for them because they can't feel connection. They don't understand what kindness means. They don't understand empathy. So that is why their brains are impaired. That is why psychopaths can start world wars and kill, do horrible things. They can pass lie detector tests because when you look at them, this is what I've learned from the studies. If these are truth tellers and these are extraordinary liars, even though they're on the far end of the extreme, they many times look similar. They look similar because these guys aren't going to sweat it. They've been so used to lying and getting away with their lies throughout decades and being heavily rewarded by lying and cheating, stealing and doing criminal activity that they actually prefer face-to-face contact when they lie. They've been practicing for 50, 40, 60, 70 years.
Right.
They're skilled at that. Whereas ordinary liars on this side of the spectrum prefer to avoid. If we were parents and we sense that our teenagers were using drugs or alcohol or doing something that we don't like, they're going to avoid their parents. But a skilled liar have different functions and structures in their brains, and their gray and white matter are different, that their brains truly do not operate with empathy. And once you know the brain science, then it makes sense. And it totally makes sense because they can't help themselves. I hold them still accountable. I think ordinary people think, oh, he'll change after we have the baby. No.
Yeah. They're not going to change.
Sister, wake up. Wake up. So that's myth number 7.
This is great. I just read a comment from Erin. She said, you need to have a show called Pants on Fire.
Love that title. Who said that?
Erin said that. So thank you so much. And everyone, please go and follow Janette on Instagram. Her Instagram is @AccurateBodyLanguage. Go right now and follow Janette.